NokSide. Yeah. You were my best friend, my lover, my comedy source, who had me walking on air as if on oxygen floors. And you were my proton, my positive force, who had me falling even faster than its autumn, of course. But we changed like what Obama assured. Had trouble swallowing it though, because the knowledge is coarse. And we all wanna be sure, we think we're set in stone. In reality, we're only chalk on a board. This love is a sponge, and you and I are often absorbed. So you were my life, and I honestly thought I was yours. And I used to wonder why, but not anymore, cause I now acknowledge divorce is only par for the course. And you can't love everything, you've gotta be sure, cause love takes skill, luck is what the lottery's for. Have a message for you like bottles that wash to the shore. Found the root of my lunacy and cut it off at the source. It was you. You always started the fights, and it was you was the hardest to like, and I'll admit that it was you. Said things ought to be brought to light, and for once I thought you were probably right. Damn baby, it was you. You always started the fights, and it was you was the hardest to like, and I'll admit that it was you. Said things ought to be brought to light, and for once I thought you were probably right. We went our own ways separately, you acted like I set you free. I guess to me it seems as though you cut me just to let me bleed. I'm trying to walk away but moving like a centipede, and can't absorb the shock of this. I guess I should have bent my knees. See, your eyes were the loveliest mind I'd ever seen, but to being with you was a dream, that means I've been asleep. The love I had for you was deeper than the 7 seas. I became submerged and now appreciate each breath I breathe. Separate entities, there was no respect between, so I've gotta treat it like a Lennon beat and let it be. I've gotta accept that it's dead and let it rest in peace. I will not be played by you again, don't even press repeat. On a scale from 1 to 10, our love's a less than 3. You'd even type it in the messages you sent to me. I've met some cold-hearted people, but yours is set to freeze. I didn't believe it until I finally felt the breeze. I was tired of fighting and now I'm less fatigued. Felt like I was climbing up to meet you, but I never reached. Plus I don't exactly get the cream, and those of you who've dated chicks know that relationships are never cheap. Don't wanna make a bad decision with a head of steam, yet it seems there's no way around it like you set a screen. It's either my heart or my head, and I need mental peace. So although I know you always said it's me, it was you. You always started the fights, and it was you was the hardest to like, and I'll admit that it was you. Said things ought to be brought to light, and for once I thought you were probably right. Damn baby, it was you. You always started the fights, and it was you was the hardest to like, and I'll admit that it was you. Said things ought to be brought to light, and for once I thought you were probably right. Now there are several ways to go with it. Either I get over it or try to make it work and find a way for us to coexist. But I wouldn't bet on us with poker chips. I've gotta weed out the uncertainty, then pack it up and smoke a bit. So while you're emotionally throwing fists, I treat the punches like a strawberry duchess, the way I roll with it. But this is meant to be, I know it is. Two soloists, I've got the guitar and you have got the bone to pick. Together we can be harmonious, and for us to play the melody of love would be my only wish. I know the secrets you've been keeping that you won't admit, and this is probably what hopeless is. I wanna know if this is worth any more time, or if you've given up, and if the tribulations have outweighed the trials. I know that every good relationship begins with trust, but we haven't had that now in a while. I need to know that when I fall for you, you'll pick me up and brush the dirt off of my shoulders with a smile. When you envision your future now, do you picture us, or am I non-existent in the vision you compile?